proudest day, and the proudest time in the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.
Welcome along to Krunching Gears, the Rally podcast, the 2025 season, Connor, and it's slipping in rightly. And this week we're going to look back at the Dogleap Rally, and also we're going to look at the Mull Rally. What makes it so special? I know, but the Dogleap last weekend, you know, maybe they hadn't the largest entry we've seen, but still quite a strong entry and a great battle there, Connor, as well.
Yeah, look, fairly impressive. Like as you say, yeah, maybe not the biggest or the strongest entry we've seen, but yeah, fairly impressive. All right, like, and you know, when you look at Niall Devine and Gareth, you know, like seriously, there was some battle between the Polo and the Fiesta.
That's for sure, yeah, and you know, what can we say? AP, you know, Art took another one there too, so they're having a real rich form of being Adam Platten, the guys there. I think that's, you know, Wexford, Cork 20, and now into the Dogleap as well too. So yeah, long may that continue for the guys there too. So we're going to catch up then with Niall Devine, the winner, then the second place co-driver, Barry McCarney, and then a podium visitor as well, the first time out in the Rally 2 Fiesta, Alan Smyth. So them three guys are all on together. So that's a great wee chat. And then we're going to look at Mull. What is it that makes Mull so special? So, and who better to talk to there than 9 times winner Callum Duffy, and also a previous winner too is Fergus Barlow. And Fergus is one of those people, he's travelling the world blogging about rallying, and he's a lot of very interesting things to say. But yeah, I think Dogleap, fantastic stages, just a shame that the entry wasn't a bit better. The Weller looked really good as well, really kind to them.
Yeah.
Cam, what can we say that hasn't been said about Cam before? It's one of those stages, even the mention of the name just brings a smile to the face. Like the jumps, the bumps, it's got everything, you know, it really is. Photographer's dream, rally driver's dream. Just it's one of those epic Irish forest stages.
Yeah, look, it is. You know, it's a well-known stage. It's been run, you know, in different iterations and different rallies over the years, and fantastic to see it back. And look, yeah, as you say, a little bit disappointing that the entry wasn't stronger, but you know, still a good competition, and interesting to see Kenny McKinstry back out again. And then also, you know, Kyle McBride getting a bit of practice in on the forest stages, you know, again with the BRC in mind.
That's that. Yeah, that's what it's all about, is getting the miles in below the belt. And you know, Niall Devine, you know, a new winner as well too, which is always great to see. Gareth Mim continues, you know, his rich fame of form, and as well then Alan Smyth, you know, yes, he has 4-wheel drive experience, but to step into a Rally 2 Fiesta and come third overall, have to give him full credit there too.
Yeah, and you know, the Fiesta on gravel as well. We you know, it's a strong, solid all rounder, and certainly put the fight up to the Polo. Okay.
Yeah, and you have to feel sorry for Dara Cairns. He was right in the mix for that whole. You know, is in the mix there somewhere in the podium, and just unfortunately a wee niggle just dropped him down. I think it was 4th we finished at the finish, but still another guy that's just getting stronger and stronger with each event. So anyway, let's hear from the three boys. First we'll hear from Niall Devine. I asked him what it was like to get his first one.
Oh, it was good now, definitely, to get the one. Do you know what I mean? And it's probably especially having it at like the Dogleap, sort of an event probably that was, I've been sort of attending for years, watching my dad, do you know what I mean, back in the years. Then it hasn't been running a long time, it's just sort of come back the last year or two, do you know what I mean? So it's good to get it there, especially so close to home.
Yeah, and like, it did Sean won that, because like it has been one that he has been thereabouts a few times in the
he did actually won it, and it was I actually forgot about it, but it was Robert McDade reminded me that he did win it, him and Tony, his son, back in 2009. So they did. They won it back then.
Nice to have the two names on the roll of honour then.
Well.
And you know, you've been in the polo this year. Like, have you felt that is, you know, is that a car maybe suits your style a wee bit more?
Okay, well, I haven't. That's my second probably rally on the gravel on the polo. Do you know what I mean? I probably haven't had a massive amount of luck this year in general. I haven't finished too many rallies and just a few mechanical things, and then I suppose the fault of me own too. I went off a few times, so it was good. It was good to get out on the bushwhacker and sort of get the confidence back up again. Do you know what I mean? To a certain level. And then probably tried a bit harder, you know, at the Dogleap, you know what I mean? But she's a great car. It's not the car that's the problem anyway.
Barry, you know, you've sat on with Gareth. Gareth's been out a good wee bit more this year, and you can see it. Like, the seat time is really paying dividends. He's just been getting quicker and quicker. He is really the common man on gravel now. As last year, really.
Yeah, well, it's a new car, and the car is quality, and Gareth has raised his game really to match that. Like, and I think he's still learning the car each time we go out. You know, he learns something different there. On Saturday on the first loop, we only realised it when we went back to service, but we broke a front shock really early on the first stage. So, as like, I may have to visit the dentist here because my filling's got a lot of where the car bottomed out. It was unbelievable. Like, I can tell you, and Cam especially, you know how many bumps and curves are on that. Like, you know, but he handled it well. You know what I mean? We knew something was up with the car, but sometimes that can phase the driver a little bit. You know, because concentrates on the wrong thing. But it didn't seem to bother him there at the weekend. And each time we go out, that little bit of confidence is, you know, it's getting better. We had a close call on Cam the second time round, but again, he dealt with it. It didn't put him off his stride, like.
Mm-hmm. And like, whenever you have Niall and the boys back in the service area, you know that the car is going to be right then for the second pass. You know, you know they're such a good team that they will have the car in tip-top condition before you head out again.
Yeah, well, Niall's excellent, like, you know what I mean? There's just nothing that phases him, and he's very calm as well with it, which again is something else, you know, because I'm not the youngest in the field by any chance there, but Gareth now sometimes could get a bit excited, and Niall is the man there, just, you know, a few calm words, and as you say, the confidence to know basically they can fix nearly anything on the car is great too.
Mm-hmm. Aye, and Alan, you seen that close quarters yourself there at the weekend. You know, you wanted to run the Fiesta Rally too. You want to Niall and the team there at IN Sport. They give you a great car.
Yeah, it came about very quick. I was in the garage one night, it's only about a couple of weeks ago now, and I seen Niall had the car up for hire, and I contacted them, and they said no bother, you know, it'll be there. And next thing I was down getting the seat set, and next thing we were out for a run and we're at the rally. It was as simple as that, really, you know.
And how did you find the transition from an Escort? Like, is it a completely different style?
It is, yeah. I suppose I've had the Evo before. I thought it was like 7 years, but I just looked back. I actually done 5 Mile Town in 2020, and the Evo, you know. So, but it was different, similar, but a lot more aggressive than the Evo and a lot more direct. And no, they're nice now. But every bit as much work as the Escort, really. It's just a different kind of driving, but everyone's coming at you faster. The corner speed's a lot more, you know. But hey, it's just, I like driving, and that's just another type of driving, really.
Because, like, you know, you are a very smooth driver, even in the Escort and all. You know, it's not, you know, big slides. It's not all arms and elbows. It's very controlled, very smooth. And I would say that probably helps that transition. And you probably carried that from your Suzuki time, you know, front wheel drive into the Evo days, and then bringing it through now as well.
Yeah, I would have done a fair bit in the front wheel drive at the C2 for a long time as well. And I suppose you're always neat with that, you know, really. So the Escort maybe was even harder to get on, I suppose, because it is a bit more ragged, like. But no, the Fiesta now I think it seems very good to me anyway, and I enjoyed it, like, really, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to go out and have fun, really, and I definitely did, like.
Yeah, because now, like, you know, we see the importance of seat time. Like, you know, as the guys were saying, the more you sit in the car, the more comfortable it is. And like the bushwhacker being the 2 days this year, give you extra time in the car. Like, so then by the time you're sitting on the start line, then Saturday morning, you're more at home, you're more comfortable before you start the rally.
The Bushwhacker was such a big event. Like it's just the dark. Just there was so much going on. Just even from a point of view, it makes everything difficult. Like I sort of discovered that my seat wasn't set right, if you know what I mean. And I was driving the car for a couple of days. I couldn't see out properly in the dark. So it's just it gives you more time, and then on the dark, it was throwing another mix into it, give you a bit more confidence. But well, that was a super event too. Do you know what I mean? Definitely was. But the getting back to the Dogleap, I have to say, like the stages that they run, that the club done a fabulous job. Like the two short stages, Lochermore, like there wasn't a bump on them. Like they weren't rough, they were smooth. You know what I mean? I have to say that the stages were excellent.
Mm-hmm. And the Cam is renowned for being probably one of the best, most demanding stages in the country. And like that last mile or mile and a half of it, it just looks like Finland or something. It must be epic from inside the car.
Right, well, we all seen what Paul Bretton done last year. He I don't know what he tried, but it didn't work.
And is that really rewarding to get them bumps and jumps just right?
Well, I sort of watched his the video of the night before, a couple of nights before, so I would say I was very tame over that first jump anyway, so I was scared the life out of it.
And Barry, you couldn't say the same about Gareth. I've seen the videos and I've seen the photos. He wasn't calm over the jumps. He just only knows one way to drive, and that just seems to be flat out.
Well, that's it. Like there's one photograph there, hey, over the jump, and if you look at the right front wheel of the car, it's turned in because we thought we were going to bounce a little bit off the road there, like in midair. But he got her back quickly, and yeah, like I have to say, the second run over them, it was poetry in motion, to be honest. Like, you know what I mean? He was really on it, like, and the car just works so well.
Mm-hmm. And it just, the car, the more you drive it, the more it rewards you.
Exactly, and I think, like I say, every time we go out, he's learning something more about her, like, you know what I mean? Because they're not easy driven.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I suppose that, you can probably drive them reasonably well to a certain limit, but it's getting that extra 2, 3, 4%. Then you really need to wring the neck off them. Then
it is. It's getting the technique that suits you as well. There we did the Lakeland Rally, and the settings was great. Mm-hmm. And we went to the Bushwhacker at the start, and she was bottoming out everywhere. It was completely different settings needed. And then Dogleap, it was just that first time when the shock broke, we didn't know where we were, sort of thing. We thought we were back to the drawing board, but Niall worked his magic, and she was brilliant again.
But isn't it mad for all the win a mile between the 3 different rallies? It's a completely different setup for each event. It's within 40 miles probably of each other, really.
Absolutely, and if you're sitting watching the videos or DVDs, they all look very similar. But I think for us it was also a new experience because we were the first car on the road, and you're always used to waiting and somebody else leads and does these things first. And we were sitting looking at the videos, and there was a lot of grass in some of those stages, like, that haven't been run for a while there, especially the first and second. And, at the beginning, we were coming into them, and you really didn't know whether it was going to be grip or not.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple of slippy, muddy places, and unfortunately, some guys paid the price on it too, like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Alan, that is the thing with stages being introduced, like the first 2 stages that haven't been used in so long. They are very green and all that there. But then again, I suppose in some ways then it probably suits other guys because, like you say, something like the Bushwhacker, the stage has been used so many times, nearly everybody knows exactly, almost to the stone, where a new stage brings its own challenges as well.
Yeah, I like the first 2 stages. Probably should be sort of tighten it, give me a bit of a chance to get bedded in rather than just going straight to Cam, because obviously it was very fast. Mm-hmm. I was just looking back. I'd done Cam I think in 2013, but it was called the Glens of Antrim. I think that time they used Springwell and Cam as well. So I remembered the jumps. I didn't recognise them on the DVD, but when I came to them, I remember them on the C2. But you wouldn't have went over as fast in it anyway, that's for sure.
and you know, compared to the Escort, how does the Fiesta handle the bumps and the jumps?
Oh, totally different. Like the Escort, you'd be just gathering it up all the time, you know, whereas that it just handles, it soaks them up and goes on, you know. I probably struggled a wee bit on the braking, just finding that I didn't really find where the limit is to break into chicanes and stuff. I was just braking too early, you know, because you're sort of used to the Escort trying to lock up and sliding down into them, whereas I just was braking early and probably having to go back on it a few times, you know, so it just take me a wee while to get in.
Because I suppose like the Fiesta is a lot heavier, but then you have the four wheels doing a lot of the work as well too. So that's finding that in between.
It's just getting used to it, like. But it was a good rally to get used to, because you had both. You had the tight technical stuff, and then you had the fast open bits and the jumps, and you know, so it was very good now. But it would have been a good rally in the Escort as well. Now that it definitely would, you know. But
yeah.
Might be an Escort for sale now, maybe.
I don't know. Whenever they're looking a good one, I might know a man.
A well provable that too. Like as previous one of the Bushwhacker and the Lakeland. So and it was maybe Alan, the motor club. Like, it's a pity they didn't get more entries. Like, it seemed to me, looking from the outside, looking in, it seemed to be an extremely well run event. Everyone run to time, great stages, as you've been saying there. Yeah,
I'm not sure why, because like everyone, there was no waiting about, and how the service area is brilliant there, like, and it didn't start too early and it finished nice and early, so it suited everybody, like, really. So it's just a pity it didn't get more of an entry, you know. But
yeah, because Niall, it's not even really big road miles. Like from Shackleton out to the stages, it's like, compared to some other rallies, it's quite a short run out.
No, there wasn't too big of a distance out. But I always hear people complain about road sections. You know, like, once you're on the rally car, you don't, unless they're mad, you know, you don't really pay much attention on a road section, or I don't anyway. I just do what I'm told, you know. So as long as the stages are good, you don't really mind doing a road section, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and that's, like, you know, we've touched on, you know, the Lakeland, the Bushwhacker. They become in very quick succession. Maybe it's the time of the year. It's hard just to put your finger on it, because like Maiden City always run great events. The stages, as you guys have been saying, are second to none. Maybe it's just budget's just getting stretched at this time of the year.
I think that is a fair point. Like, you know, it's at this late stage, a lot of guys just have spent the budget, and the money's not there. And there's, like, those three rallies are in a relatively short period of time. And if you've anything to fix or upgrade or anything, the cost don't belong mounting up, like.
Yeah. Because, like, unfortunately, rallying has got, like, you know, yes, it's still a clubman sport, but the cost of everything has just been ramped up. Fuel, tires, parts, everyone's just getting more and more expensive now.
I think it is, like, in some events there, like the Cork 20 there the other week, like they suffer as well, because it's the end of the season, and most of the championships are all sorted out, so people's not going to go to it. It's a great rally, well run, the same as the Dogleap, well run, good committee, putting a lot of effort in. But, you know, the numbers don't turn up.
No. Because now we see the way the Northern Ireland Championship, they're promoting it really well. You know, the good social media. You know, there's going to be like a TV program come out of each event there. Like, we're seeing the programs now; they're on YouTube there for anybody that wants to see them. Top class productions there as well too. So there's a great momentum building behind them, all the events.
Aye, there's some super stages, like you know, gravel stages in like the north, like, and a good lot of them don't even be used. Like, you know, back like years ago, you had, like, Alan was on about the Glens of Antrim. Like, I know the Glens of Antrim used the Dogleap stages, but there was like the Sheba that you called it back in the day. Like, and the stages were super. Do you know what I mean? And you had even the Tour of the Sperrins, which is like over Banagher. Like, again, not that far away. Do you know what I mean? So there's some super stages around. You know what I mean? That I don't actually haven't been used in years. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully we see some of them stages back. You know, for I always remember back saying, you know what I mean, waiting on my dad to come off some of the stages, and I would always, well, I only ever got over Banagher once. You know what I mean? I would love to do them stages again sometime. You know what I mean? I've done
For
it
sure.
once in that a Subaru years ago. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
hopefully some of them stages will be used. You know, by some of the clubs again.
Because like Alan, like the General Motor Works Rally or the Town Parks or the Sheba Rally or whatever you want to call it, the Glens of Antrim, like you had Slievenora and all that, like, and it used to be covered by RPM, and there were some mighty stages there, like, and just even thinking the names that come to it, Patrick Snyers, Armin Swartz come over, like, we attracted some fantastic crews to come over here, and now we have the competitors now too. We've seen it like in the last few weeks. Our competitors can travel anywhere and be competitive. It shows that we have the stages here, whether it's in gravel or whether it's in tar.
Yeah, and the good thing with the gravel rally, and it's a wee bit easier, like for myself, you know, you have no recce. You turn up on a Saturday morning and away you go, you know, so it saves a bit of time. Like it's hard to get away from work sometimes, and the gravel is easy for that. And there is so many local stages, it would be good to get a bit more here, really, you know. So definitely, like.
Yeah. Because, like, you know, there is, like, you know, we just even touched on it there, the town parks, and the Tour of the Sperrins. The Down Rally used to be always running gravel as well, too. So there is a whole lot of forestry that we're not even touching at the minute at all.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. Like, even for the bushwhacker, there used to be Gorchin as well, was ran back. I remember doing it in 2012, you know, so there is plenty of stages. But it'll be definitely good to see a few more again, you know.
Yeah. And like Barry, for yourself as well too, like to sit him now beside Gareth and to see the way he has come on now the last 2 years, really, like it must give you great pride to see where he's at and where he could go.
Absolutely, as I say, like he's getting better every time we go out. Like he's getting more mature, and you know he's thinking more. Yes, we probably put in a bit more effort now in our own ways. Like, you know what I mean, because. It's the adrenaline rush is always with you, but when you start to see the front, you know, or start to dream about getting a podium and that, then you up your game, and Gareth is up in his game every time he is, and like I believe, I hope we're going to see the podium, the first step very shortly, like, you know, the way he's going, because like the car is good enough now, you know, everything's set.
Yes,
got the experience. You know, it's time, really.
Yeah, because I like you know, as I say, like the Lakeland third, the bushwhacker. Unfortunately, you know, it was just that I don't know whether we just lapsed of concentration in the last stage, or we'll never know. But like to bounce back the way he bounced back again Saturday.
That's it. But that was a good experience. It's not a nice experience, you know, but it's a good experience factor, because I can tell you when we were sitting on the start of the line there on the last stage, and Dara was 3 seconds ahead of us, whether we were going to go for it or not, we were going for it.
There wasn't going to be 3 seconds left behind it.
We weren't going to take that risk again, like, you know.
Payback.
It was just the time, yeah.
Niall, you couldn't afford to relax either, because like you couldn't back off or take it handy through the last stage, because you know, yes, you had a lead, but it wasn't really comfortable either.
No, definitely not. You had to keep at it now. But there was somebody had a bridge in Cam. I don't know. I think it might have been used. Barry, was it?
It was, yeah. We were very lucky.
There was a few marks, and I started thinking to myself,
we were very lucky that the next corner was a left, not a right. You know, you mightn't come back down. But sometimes you make your own luck too. Like, you know what I mean, when you're trying hard, and we were trying.
I was thinking to myself, I better not do that, for there were big concrete marks across it.
And now I suppose like having Liam there beside you as well too, like he has been a constant now for the last few years now, a good steady hit.
I mean, Liam's been going a good bat now. It must be. I think the first rally we done was actually in Scotland back in the Evo, maybe. The Grampian, maybe. We went to, it was maybe the first rally. Oh, it's good. It's a good while ago. Do you know what I mean? But like we had some real good runs in the Evo, like, you know what I mean? On the gravel, really, really good car, reliable, easy to drive, done everything you want, I suppose. Alan would know all about it. Like, they were great fun. Like, these cars here definitely are harder to drive. Well, drive competitively would maybe be the right word. And you do have to sort of wring the neck out of it. Like, the Evo, you could sort of sit back a bit more and let it sort of just went, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. But like we've seen, like especially like we've always said, like it's going to come out of COVID. But even this year, gravel rallying has just gone up another step. It keeps going up and up and up. Like, and to be at the front, you have to bring your A game every day with you now.
Oh, aye, you have to be on it. Like, it's like there was the three of us. There wasn't much between us. There, Gareth and myself. Do you know what I mean? It was just, I suppose, it was anybody's rally right to the last corner. Do you know what I mean? Alan as well. Do you know what I mean? It's competitive. Like, do you know what I mean? So it is.
And does that give you a buzz? Like you pulling on then them straps going into that last stage, just absolutely buzzing and just can't wait to get at it then.
Oh, God, no, definitely. You know what I mean? It is good crack. Do you know what I mean? We're all the slagging at the start of the stages and a bit of crack, and everybody telling everybody to slow down, don't be going too hard through the stage. Do you know what I mean? You know how it is, but no, it's close to home, and as Alan says, like there's not as much effort. Like, you know what I mean? The effort you'd have to do the likes of Donegal or National. Do you know what I mean? It's just so much. Like the Dogleap, I couldn't believe. I was getting onto the van to go home, and it was 45. I was, you know what I mean. It was super. Like, it started late, and it did finish. Like, and like I was home at 5:30. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it didn't leave particularly that early that morning. Do you know what I mean? So it is good. You know, it's definitely, enjoyable, event. And definitely it was compact and everything went so well. Like, and the service area was a good job too. Like, do you know what I mean? Like that, the Shackleton facility. Like, my wife come down with a wheel, like, and she was able to drive in and get parked straight.
Yes.
So that's great. Like, do you know what I mean?
Aye, it's not hid away somewhere, and you're not traipsing to an old muddy field or something either. It's all good hard surface and all that as well too.
Oh, it's some facility. Like, do you know what I mean? It's excellent. Like, it has to be one of the best areas for service area in the country. Like, you know what I mean? Definitely.
That's for sure. And then I suppose, like, we're coming up now, Donegal Forestry, and then the final round of the Northern Ireland Forestry, 5 Mile Town, and later in November too. Can you see yourself going back out again now before the end of the year? Or?
I probably will. I'll see if I don't know if I'll do the two events, but I'll definitely do one of them anyway. You know what I mean? We'll see probably which one we'll do, or maybe we'll do the two and we'll see. They're very close. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You'd like to have a wee break between them, but that's just the time of year we're at. You know what I mean? So, and as Barry says, if something happens in one of them,
it's hard to get turned around again quick enough.
Get it turned around and go again. But I will hopefully that we'll definitely go out again. Hopefully the luck will sort of keep continuing. Do you know what I mean? Now that.
And do you feel that has that sort of give you a wee bit more confidence now, a wee bit more of a pep in your step?
Yourself. I would say there'll be a lot of boys sort me out the first day. I'm out again. You know what I mean? I wouldn't get too excited about that. I'll just get my clock cleaned for the next day.
And Barry, can you see yourself and Gareth out now before the end of the year again?
Well, we'll be out at least at one of them. I'll be away probably one of them, so we'll probably be out one of them, yeah, for sure.
And then Alan, I suppose then the question to you then, is the escort for sale, and do you see yourself back in the Fiesta before too long?
I don't honestly know at the minute. Hey, I don't know. I'd like to do some of them rallies. Like, I haven't done much I didn't do any rallies at all last year, I think, and maybe even the year before either. So now that we're sort of got a bit of momentum, I'd like to do definitely one of them. But what I'll do it in, I don't know. And we'll have to see. Now, I'd like to take the Fiesta again, but Niall said if I put her on the podium, he wasn't going to charge me for it. So we're going to hurt him now.
Sounds like a reasonable deal, that, now, in fairness.
I don't think he had much confidence in me now, but we'll have to see what way he takes it now. I haven't
well, he's a man of his word, like, so.
Oh, yeah, right. So make sure if you see him, tell him it has to stick to that now. So we'll see. The escort's basically ready again there as well. So don't know. I'd definitely like to do one of them and a Rally 2 again, and then we'll see then, I suppose.
Thanks to those three guys there, and hopefully we'll see them all out again fairly soon, and I think, that's going to give the whole lot of them great confidence going forward. So, yeah, Mull Rally last weekend as well too. Like, on paper it shouldn't work, but it really does. Like, rallying through the night Friday, all day Saturday, then start again Saturday night and into Sunday morning. It just doesn't look right, but it really does come across as an absolutely epic event, Connor.
As you say, like on paper or in theory, it shouldn't work, but it does. Like, we're used to. Okay, so the UK isn't renowned for tarmac rallying. Mm-hmm. We're used to the Jim Clark. We're used to now with the Cardigan, and that really has come on leaps and bounds. But the Mull Rally, it's one of those that just bubbles away in the background. Every year you hear the bit of hype, you hear the, some really good social media stuff around it. And it attracts a flipping brilliant entry every year. It really does.
Yeah, I think it's not a round of any championship or anything. It's just a standalone event, and like anybody that goes there seems to always want to go back again too. So I think it has something very magical about it. So we thought, let's dig a wee bit more deeper into it, and like who better to speak to 9-time winner Callum Duffy, and that's a fascinating story. And then also Fergus Barlow as well. Fergus has won the rally in recent years as well too, and I just love his approach to rallying. He goes round. He's been in Donegal this year. He was in New Zealand there for the historic rally earlier in the year, and he does video blogs and all. And it's just, he has a great way with social media and all that too. So I thought we'd get his views as well.
Hi, Kevin. I think I've kind of got a new sort of look on it because I've just obviously come off the island. So it's for me, it has to be the nighttime stages, and people kind of. And just the actual, the marathon aspect of the event, it really is a challenge on your mentality as well as your physical side of things. And we chatted slightly there before we came on, and I'm still shattered. That's just, there's no other word for it. It's you're sort of, you don't really know what you're doing. You can't function at a level that you're used to because you've had no sleep. Your diet has been bad. You're just grabbing food on the go. You probably didn't hydrate enough. So now it's Tuesday now, and I still feel tired, physically tired, mentally tired. So I think that all builds into the sort of nature of what that event is, and you have to do it to kind of understand it. It's and then I think just the atmosphere of being in Mull, and you bump into people you see maybe once a year, but we're all there for the same reason. Some people are there to marshal, some are there to spectate, a lot are there to compete. So there is a friendly competitive atmosphere, which that's rallying in general. It's a community. There's a lot of camaraderie in it. People want to do well, and they're all there for the same reason.
Yeah, and to look at it, if you wrote it down on a page, it doesn't make any sense. But when it all comes together, it makes perfect sense. Yeah,
it's hard to believe that the organising team can bring such a compact event with such little roads to use. It's hard to believe that it actually works, and the more you look into it, the more respect you have for the people that bring that together and run it as an exceptionally efficient event. I said it in some of the interviews I had online, and I'll say it again. It really was unbelievably efficient. Mm-hmm. There was no delays. Every stage ran on time. It was like I say, myself and my brother who've done what was my 27th event, and it was just like we couldn't believe how efficient it was, and what a great job the organising team done.
Yeah. And it takes a lot of buy-in from the public, there is obviously people in Mull that, the rally is maybe more of a hindrance for them, but they have to, they give over their roads, they give over their like livelihood for that 3-4 days.
Yeah, it's widely supported on Mull. I think people realise how important it is to the Mull wider community. What it actually brings to the island in terms of income and revenue is massive. And it's the same in any small community, that if people move there, for example, and they're not used to the event, they can maybe bang the drum a little bit about it, but there's certainly more people that are prepared to explain the importance of the event to the island. And you'll always get the odd people that maybe don't understand it for what it is, but generally speaking, most people are in huge support of the rally and work their lives around it, which is, it's a testament to the community spirit that is on the island that lets it run so efficiently.
Because, you have, probably the guts of 1,000 people landing there. That's filling pubs, that's filling restaurants, that's filling hotels, bed and breakfast, local shops. Everybody gets a turn out of this. Petrol stations. It's it's not just one business that gets a kick out of this. The whole island benefits from it.
Yeah, that's right. There's very few people that don't, and even the ones that don't, which you could maybe say like the farmers and people like that, they don't have any real direct benefit from it unless they're running a B&B or something like that. But they still go out, they still shift the livestock off the roads. They go out of their way to actually help the event run efficiently. Yeah, I mean, in general, they really all sort of come together, and that's again a testament to the organising team, that they involve everybody. They don't just expect people to do certain things. So I would hazard a guess that the event's only 2 days gone past, but they're probably already prepping for next year. They'll have a debrief, I'm sure, and see what went well, what didn't go well, and they always try and sort of be transparent about what they're doing, and honest, and that I think that's why the rally has ran so successfully. And even when there was years when we couldn't rally, like through COVID, or there was an insurance issue one year and it didn't run, people were always, we struggled to get it back, but it didn't. It came back stronger again. Mm-hmm. So it just shows that they never dropped the ball, and a huge credit to the people that are involved to bring that event together.
Yeah, and you say limited roads, but the way they're able to tweak them and have a connection road, or turn it the opposite direction, they're always twisting and turning. It's not copy and paste with the paste notes year in, year out.
No, that's right. It's like you said, it's like limited roads, and they've gone as far as putting 30-mile stages together. That's almost unheard at night. That's unheard of. And when we were going to like Donegal and places, you'd always meet people out there and who would recce, and I couldn't believe the amount of junctions there was. When we can do stages here in Mull that can be anything up to 10 miles long, and there's not one junction in it, not one. They have to put chicanes in them to slow your average speed down. And there was one in particular, a 22-mile stage, and there wasn't a junction in it. 22 miles. So that I was trying to explain to the other drivers, that's what you're up. The speed and you're carrying it's phenomenal. Mm-hmm. So like I say, and even this year, they had that incident with a rockfall, which took away a lot of the. It didn't take away a lot of mileage, but it made life very difficult for the organisers to string the stages together. But within, I think it was 10 days, probably maybe even less, they had a comparative rally together. The same mileage, they just sort of kept it all up north. They had to extend the service times because the two other stages that they lost, or three, were a bit further away, so they could have kept the cars apart. And I was amazed at how fast they brought that together, and the potential for that to go like wrong because all the stages were so compact was quite high. But as soon as I seen, I wasn't doing the rally, I hadn't entered up, but as soon as I seen that the effort they'd put in to actually bring that all together, I thought, no, that I want to support this event and plus the stages were all ones that I really liked as well. I just thought, that's unbelievable, and so that's when we really aggressively started looking for a car.
Yeah. And you talk about the car, you have you've developed and you've seen the event develop. The way the cars have developed over 30 plus years now, I have to say, that you've been competing. Is it unbelievable? How much the cars have developed. Is it mind blowing to think of the Mark II Escort you started out and then the last Mark II you're in was the all singing, all dancing 2.4, 2.5 car at that stage.
Yeah, I think we've had a fair journey through the years of the event. Obviously starting out in a self-built car. It's a 4-door Escort and a 1600 cross-flow engine built in the back of my granny's shed, basically, And but we started, what was it, car 121, and we finished 10th overall, and we were quickest in the last stage overall. And I think people realised then, here's another local loony that if he was given the right kind of circumstances, he'll be knocking on the door. And then very quickly, a lot of people kind of realised that we had something, and we kind of started getting a bit more serious. And the Escort we went to a 2-door shell, and there was a lot of people helped me out, like Johnny Bald, who was working for Kenny McKinstry at the time. He took that shell and he built it back up and put an Atmo Cosy in it. And then I think we might have been 4th overall in the next one. And then, Adrian Hargreaves from Mull, he took it on and then he built it up again. And then we were actually winning that event. And then something happened. I think we had a clutch go. And so the Escort got better quickly, and then eventually won the event in '98 in the Escort, which was a huge achievement considering it was not when I say self-built, it was built by one person, that and then a lot of us, my cousins, Andy and people like that, were helping out. And then to get that car across the line in '98, sitting with my father sitting beside me, it was an amazing feeling. It really was. And then 2000 we went to an Evo 6, so a 4-wheel drive car. We won in that as well. And then it was the Escorts for years and years after that. And then I think it was 2015 we had the Group A car.
Oh yeah.
So the Subaru, the Group A Subaru Impreza, an X-Pro drive car. That was unbelievable to drive. It was just a phenomenal thing. And then that kind of gave us a stepping stone once we sold that to build the Skoda. And that's prior to that we had the relationship with Den Motorsport.
Oh yeah.
They did a lot of events in Donegal, and then obviously won Mull quite a few times with Barry. And then they started in the Skoda. I think it was 2016, and that was just a pure development thing as well. And then. Yeah, so it was. We've seen the cars get better and better and better, stronger and stronger, and then we had a layoff. Basically from 2019, Barry built a car, but it didn't get very far in 2020, and I honestly thought that was it for me. I just thought, that's enough. It's. But lo and behold, here we are again. We've had to go in a Rally 2 car, so and again, I mean, that was just like an eye-opener, because there was very few rallies that we ever had a car that was comparable, the best car, if you like. You know? So this year was probably the first year that we had a car that was as good as any of the other R5s or whatever everyone else was driving.
Yes,
We're in a bit of a level playing field, if you like. Albeit it was the first time I'd ever sat in one and things like that. But no, it was. I went out and so I went out thinking that I'll just see how we get on, and we did the shakedown, and I was like making an arse of the launch, thinking there's too many buttons for this old man here, But then once the car got away, it wasn't hugely dissimilar from the Skoda. It was, your left foot braking, and it was exceptionally torquey.
Right.
The Skoda had a 2.5 million in it, so it was naturally aspirated. So it was trying to get out of your mind to stop driving it like a Mark II and using transmission brake and all these different things, and just actually use the brakes, which were phenomenal.
Yes.
And use the torque of the engine. The corner speed was just, I don't think I found. Well, I did find the limits a couple of times, but like there was when I came off the rally, we won the last 6 stages. We're fastest in the last 6 stages, and without sounding like cocky or arrogant or that, there was more left. There was absolutely more. I wasn't chasing anything, and to be fair, the people that were winning the rally had kind of settled their places as well, so they weren't chasing anything either. So, albeit yes, we won the rally, it was the fight wasn't on. If you know what I mean.
You'd have been an extra tenth of a kilometre if you really needed it.
It was there to be had, and I'm sure they had it as well. To be fair, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we came away from the rally having thoroughly enjoyed ourselves, and had some colossal moments. Developed our experience within the car massively from the first stage to the last stage, and come away thinking we're not that far away now. We've still got it. And it would be good to have another crack at it.
That's what I was going to say. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah. Well, I always said it was my 50th. This year I'm 50, so it was always my intention to hire a Rally 2 car or a World car or something like that. Yeah. And the opportunity was there to do it. If it went there and got absolutely cleaned by everyone, I would have fair enough.
Time to
the guys have moved on, the cars have moved on. I'm a dinosaur, and that's that. But that wasn't the case. It was we still have an edge, and I'm glad that it's still there. So I think if everything aligned, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't come back again next year.
Yeah, because this is the one thing as well with Mull. I think it has a great reputation as a rally, but the calibre of driver it produces as well. Yourself, you've travelled well. Neil that won this year as well, and Fergus Barlow as well. He has a great reputation of guys that can go to Ireland or go across the UK, anywhere, and be competitive. It obviously comes from the roads you're growing up on and getting used to.
Yeah, I've been asked this question a few times over the years, and I think it's a very good proving ground, because if you can rally quickly on Mull because of the nature of the roads and carrying speed, that kind of thing, nighttime rally and that kind of precision that's required, I think it transcends quite well into rallying anywhere else. I might be wrong here, but the thing I always struggled with is the boys that are from there are very familiar with the roads. So yes, most of us use pace notes, but you would say that you're not that good at making pace notes.
Okay.
So the likes of that's what I struggled with when we went to Donegal, for example. We were using Patterson's notes at that time, and it was just all new to us. So it took us a while to kind of get used to it. But once we did, we were fine. But the likes of like John McCrone, John's my cousin, and he's had a good run at the junior championship, the world championship. Anywhere he goes, he's quick. And he's good at making notes. Paul McKinnon, anytime he goes anywhere, he's a contender. So Fergus as well. It does produce a decent calibre of driver, and they always used to say, "Oh, they're only quick in the island," but we're not. We're quick wherever we go, and it's. The thing that always frustrated me a bit is that a lot, because of Mull, of what it is and the type of calibre of the driver that's there, is it frightened off people to come and try Mull in case it was a reputation damager, that kind of thing. Yeah. But then you look at likes of David Bogie, who's a multiple British champion. He comes there in the Escort and has a great time, And the likes of David, I would hazard a guess he's put enough time and effort in now in his notes and stuff like that. If you get an R5, he'd be knocking on the door 100%. He would be. Yeah.
So the year the BRC come to it, you had Oisin Price and Matt Edwards and those guys. They loved it. They raved about it, and it's a shame the BRC didn't get a better run at it as well.
Yeah, Matt was there this year again. Actually, I spoke to him just a couple of times. He was at some of the regroups. He was on the rally forum on the Thursday, but he said that himself. It was an epic event, and he loved going out and watching it. He wishes he was doing it. So it is just one of these things that you tend to find a lot of people. They do it as a pilgrimage as well. It's something they've done for a long time. They treat it as their annual holiday, that kind of thing, and then throw a bit of rallying in as well. And it is a shame that it's maybe at the back end of the year. A lot of championships have been settled, things like that.
And budgets is kind of
they're
burnt up and all in as well too.
So there is a bit of suffering from that. And they had 130 cars this year, which I don't think was actually too bad.
Yeah.
And it's definitely, it is quieter, but it's quieter everywhere.
Yeah.
And people don't have the money to burn as they had before, and so you 130 cars isn't a bad out. And I know that the likes of the event is expensive to run, so I know that they need probably more than that for it to wipe its face, that kind of thing. So, but then I was speaking to a guy and I said, it was very quiet about the service area, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, you're comparing it to maybe like, say, 15, 20 years ago when it was just everything was booming, and I said, we were out in Donegal then, and you remember the streets were just ablaze with everyone, and it was just, it was like a carnival, I said, you would need to go back to Donegal and compare it to where it was then, and it might not be as busy now, and just because people don't have the money, or it might be.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're comparing apples to oranges, I think, and it's...
Yeah, and people haven't as much free time now either,
No.
They've limited time off and holidays from work, and, life has kind of taken us over a lot more now too than it would have maybe a few years ago too.
100%, but what I said was, look at the calibre of the entry.
Yeah.
Look at the cars that are here.
Yeah.
Well, the top 10, were mostly R5, and 20 actually were mostly R5s, or really proper sorted modified cars.
Mm-hmm.
And I said the calibre's there, and then speaking to quite a few people who would be what I would call seasoned spectators that know rallying, they said that the pace was unbelievable this year all through the field. You didn't get the sort of top 20, then it just dropped off a cliff. They were saying there was people going like hell all the way through the field. It was gent. So I said, well, maybe you didn't have the quantity, but you obviously had the quality of people that were there. And the weather was horrendous this year. I thought, it was so unpredictable. So no, I think there was a lot of positives from that event.
Mm-hmm. And then I suppose the final question then, you're a Mull man yourself, like how proud is it, to, you're a 9-time winner, you're a local, to be this rally that everybody, like a small island off the coast of Scotland, a rally that just everybody knows about, like whether they're in the World Championship or the Irish Championship or wherever, there's this magical thing about Mull.
Yeah, there is. It's like you said earlier, you called it mystical, and I think that's probably the right word for it. And I think you've just got to kind of. I had friends over this year, and I said, try and soak it in for what it is. I said, go, just realise what you're doing. You're going out at night to watch people like driving cars on a closed road, and you're in amongst hundreds of people. You'll see like lights dazzling about the sky, and then you'll start hearing things. I said it's just an absolute assault on your senses, and then the cars will be boom past you like that. Then you'll smell the cars, and I said it is so unique, and because you've got all that going on, every sense that you have is getting tickled in that experience, and I think that's probably what makes it so unique. It's like the nighttime stuff is definitely there, and it's I like say I just got given up, not, and then when I came back, it was like all the familiar smells that even the sights when you come on the island, because I don't go back home that often now. It brought you back to like memories all the time when you were out recceing. You could remember having a moment in Escort here and all these different things, or seeing a deer and thinking, oh Jesus, like that kind of thing, and hope that's not there on Friday night. And then it all starts to sort of gear up, you know, like you start meeting people that, I haven't seen you for ages, how's it going? And then it reminds you that it's a hobby, you know, you're there to do this for fun. No one's walking away with making money at this, you know, but what you are making is memories, you know, and they're invaluable. And like I say, all like your mum and dad are stressed out, you know, your family's worried for you, all these different things. There's all these, it's an assault on your senses and your emotions. And then obviously it's the relief or the disappointment throughout the rally, you know, you get punched or whatever, you know, and then you see other people that are completely euphoric because they've got to the end and their mum and dad's there. That's just like, it's hard to explain until you actually see it, you know, and I hope I've tried to explain it a little bit there.
Oh, a fantastic event, and a massive credit to them. I don't know if you've heard or seen in the lead up to the rally, we had a last minute route change. We had a huge rockfall that came down on one of the stages called Greeben and absolutely obliterated, destroyed the road. And that not only happened once, it happened twice. So the organisers were really scrambling, trying to bring it back together. Thankfully, in the end, they came up with a plan B, if you will, and they got the rally to run. And it turned out to be a fantastic event. Really good stages, really enjoyable. It was kind of more like on the north of Mull. We missed out on, you know, the fantastic stages that is Greeben and Screeden, but still, the stages that were there were fantastic and very enjoyable.
Yeah, because Connor came up with a stat earlier, over 200 stage kilometres, you know, competitive kilometres on such a small island. I think that's an absolute credit to the club and everybody involved. Like, you know, like to turn that the size of an event round in such a small island, that's brilliant.
Exactly, that's it. And, you know, when you put the numbers on it there, you're kind of like, well, what roads are left that don't get rallied on? And I was just talking to somebody in the ferry queue today, and they were saying, well, why don't we just have 2 stages from Salem to Tobermory? And I was just thinking, no, look, first of all, that would be so fast that you probably wouldn't be able to do it. But still, you know, you need to have some sort of infrastructure, some sort of, like, let's say, ring road that, for safety reasons, that you can get down, because I think some of the folk I'm talking to, like, yeah, we'll just rally everywhere and it'll be brilliant. But I think we're doing well with what we've got.
It's quite incredible because, like, a typical BRC round's about 90k.
Yes, oh, it is. It's fantastic, and that's why it's such an amazing and important event that we keep alive and keep going, because, you know, there's not a lot else like it. It's so unique and so challenging and tricky, and obviously 2/3 of it's at night. The event's got a real aura about it, and yeah, it's certainly different to the likes of the kind of your typical, say, BRC style rallies. It's I tell you what's interesting. I was reading Guy Martin's book, and he was talking about how the Isle of Man TT wasn't really, let's say, popular to begin with, because it was like, well, it's not part of any championship. Folk have sponsor deals for championships, but if to do an additional event, you need to find additional funds. And I think obviously what happened with that, the Isle of Man TT is built into this massive big thing, and it's amazing, everybody loves it. And I think Mull, in the sense of, you know, not really being part of many championships or anything, it's its own little thing, it's its own unique event, and it's got such a drive to do it that, yeah, it's got its own aura, and it's, you know, very unique in its style.
Yeah, because even from the BRC coming out of COVID 21, I think it was, or 2020 or 21, you just didn't, you know, change everything just to fit into the BRC formula. You just kept the rally as the Mull Rally, and, you know, you kept the night stages, you kept it to what its roots is, and I think the BRC competitors loved that.
Yes, yeah, and I think that was something very important for us not to change, because it's kind of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's the Mull Rally is the Mull Rally because of the night stages, because of the challenges. If we were to, let's say, alter that or change that to kind of not conform, but go more down like a kind of BRC traditional route, that's you're trying to make it something that it's perhaps not. The Mull is this amazing thing. Imagine going there and, you know, you're rallying at night, but then when you go through the day and you go, oh my God, that was the dangers that we were going past. You know, if we put a foot wrong there, we'll end up in the water. You know, so it's kind of steeped in this mysterious, you know, danger, if you will. But it's not. It's a fantastic and very challenging event.
Yeah, because it really does, you know, like spectators go there by the hundreds, if not thousands, and they make their holiday out of it. They have camper vans, and they go and they book the hotels, the B&Bs, and the bars, the cafes, everywhere, the petrol stations, everywhere gets a lift out of this, and it's become like their annual getaway nearly almost at this stage as well.
It absolutely is, and it's a lovely point that you've touched on there, because there's so many families and so many communities and people that have moved to Mull that started from the rally. They would come up, they would watch the rally, and they think, oh, that's quite good. They would get introduced to it, but then what happens is they come back in the summer, for maybe a bit of recce, if you will, or have a look about, and they make it their holiday. And then what happens is they come up for a week, 2 weeks, and then, for example, Dan Harper, he had a property on Mull for years, and it's so amazing that the rally can do that. It can bring this beautiful community that we all are together to enjoy what is Mull. And exactly kind of what you said there, they're not coming for, let's come on the Friday night, get scrutineered, a wee bit of recce, let's say shakedown, and then you're into the rally, and then you're away on the Sunday. It's an annual pilgrimage, really, isn't it? They're coming up and they're staying for the full week on the lead up to enjoy that open recce scenario, really trying to learn the roads and go round and put as much as they can into it and enjoy the place. It is somewhat difficult or challenging logistically to bring together, but it's worth it in the end. And what the Mull Rally for me is, or what I can, from what my perspective is, let's say the top 6 to 10 cars that are in these high performance cars and really pushing it at the front. The Mull Rally isn't actually necessarily about that. It's about the smaller crews. It's about the clubman level competitors that are working out the back of a transit van. They've got the tools, they've got the barbecue, and that's, well, you might not get the barbecue going because it's often wet. But it's so great to see in such a fantastic community. I was just talking to somebody in a group chat there, and we were talking about how it was so nice that we're all here for the same thing. We're there to look out for each other. Competitors are not competitors. If you need a gearbox, or you need some brakes or whatever, we'll all club together and try and get that. And it was great to see on the Mull Rally page over the weekend so many posts that go up looking for radiator for such and such type of car, or an engine for such and such type of car. And there were stories. Alistair McCrone was saying that there's a road car, a mini road car from one of the other local lads that it's up currently with no front end on it. I think when he said, yeah, take a bit off my car, that'll be fine, I think he was probably assuming that might be a wing mirror or a bonnet or something, but he's come back and there's no front on it. I think the engine's been ripped out. I think they took the still saw to the drive shafts, and isn't that brilliant? That's what Mull is. Coming up for the week, bringing the family, bringing everybody, get them all involved, and really enjoying what is the best rally in the world.
Yeah, because... sorry, Conor.
No, sorry, I was going to say, Fergus, you mentioned just, about the weather's not always favourable, but this year in particular, particularly for the recce, you had Storm Amy. Like, how difficult did that make things?
It made it very difficult, and I think I certainly came up, and it was interesting because I did a few vlogs on the lead up to the rally this year, just to try and show people the other side of it. What is car number 1 doing for their preparations? Is it anything special, or am I just the same as everyone else, which obviously I am? And so I come up and we're ready to go. I've brought the simulator up with me to try and get a bit of seat time, if you will, and then I'm going to go out and do my recce. Well, Storm Amy comes in and has got other ideas. So myself and Heather, it was suggested, right, the weather's looking bad tonight on the Friday night. We'll wait and we'll come out tomorrow. That's fine, okay. So we cut things short for the Friday night, and the hopes that I would just put some time in the simulator. Well, I go sit in the simulator, bang, hours away. I can't even put the kettle on for a cup of tea. I had to go down, and my mum's got the camping stove there up in the worktop. She's got the gas burning and a wee candle going, and we were just making it work. And so unfortunately there was no simulator and there was no recce. But we, on the lead up to Rally Week, we did manage to get out. The problem is there's a lot of people out recceing then, so it's kind of gridlock. You don't really get a flow, when you're kind of driving round. It's very stop-starty, and the co-driver might be like, well, we're on the left 5, but after like a minute's wait for somebody to reverse and shift about, you're kind of lost your place. So
yeah.
And you talked about, what it's like for car one you done the vlog. I think that really brought it home. Like, you're not a big budget rallying. This is like everybody clubbing together, your fans, your friends, everybody's chipping in. It might be 20 quid here, 50 quid here, but it's very important to you. That's what got you there, and every name was on the car.
Yes, it is so important. And I think I must admit that on the lead up to it, we were having a look at many options to bring such a difficult deal together. We had some issues and we were struggling to bring budget together. And admittedly, what I would say is 3 weeks before the event, I was £16,000 short. And I was going, wow, how am I going to do this? And many people, were talking to me in a frame of mind that was kind of like, maybe you should just say, if it's not to be, it's not to be. But unfortunately, I'm not wired up like that. And I think if I didn't manage to make it happen, it would damage me more, which sounds mental. Because as Callum says, it's just a hobby at the end of the day. We're just clubbing level rallying. We're not making it anywhere. We're not getting any of these fantastic seats and moving on. You see how difficult it is at the top end. So I think... I think that community feel and everyone kind of chipping in and making something really difficult happen was incredible, and I'm so thankful to kind of everyone that got involved and supported. Like I say, with like running, for example, a GoFundMe page, I feel that it's kind of like a golden ticket that you can only use maybe once or twice if you're going to do something special. And I understand the responsibility that goes with that. And I think this year we had the opportunity. Craig, unfortunately, he's diving in the North Sea. So he wasn't available, and step in, cue, Facebook post, and then that leads on to Heather McCrone, another fantastic Dervig bear jumping into that seat. And the community really came behind it. We're looking at the budgets and it's like, well, I'm saying to Heather, look, we're miles away from this. Would you still be interested in the seat if it's, let's say, in a Rally 3 or a Mark II Escort or something, any other options? And she said, look, it would just be a privilege to come along with you and we'll do it, win or lose, we're going to enjoy it. And, everyone in Dervig will be really proud of us. So I think once we got that positivity behind me, it G'd me up to be like, no, we can do this and we will do it. And then, Heather started a GoFundMe page and the support was incredible. I'm so thankful to everybody that helped out. I had a lovely night through in Dervig just last night there, and the community spirit and vibe there was it was warming to the heart.
Excellent. And you mentioned there, doing the vlog and all the lead up to it. We've seen you. I've been following you all year. You've been to New Zealand. You've been to Donegal. And you're getting all these positive experience, and I'm sure you're bringing them back with you and saying, look what's out there. Look what we have. We have something here comparable, and maybe in some ways better. Yes,
no, it's fantastic for me to have that experience to go around and share and talk to all these different drivers and see all these different events. I mean, you touched on New Zealand there. And obviously, Mull, in my opinion, is the best tarmac rally in the world. But Rally Otago was next level. I mean, we're out there, and you've got Hayden Padden, you've got Chris and Noel out there. Fantastic. Many a Guinness were drunk that weekend, and it was really the spirit, and it's amazing out there how much they really, really love rally the same as we do. It's a fantastic atmosphere and community to be around. But it was great because then I can come back and share these stories and try to encourage folk to even, for example, come over to Donegal or Killarney or any of these other rallies, or, if they're out in New Zealand at the right time, get yourself down to Otago. And, there's reasons that like Colin Clark will make the pilgrimage and he'll go out there and cover that. It's really quite something special. So it's amazing to see, as you say, experience all these different rallies, but then have time to reflect and have a look at the Mull Rally and see how special and difficult and challenging that is. I think, it's got to be from somebody that's not a local looking in going, imagine going there and being able to beat the locals. That's a good wee badge of honour. And massive hats off and the deepest respect I've got for Matt Edwards. Such a shame that when he came, he obviously crashed in about the third or fourth corner in. But after there, he just stage record after stage record, just completely beasted it. And I always use him as an example because everyone's very quick to say, well, Fergus, you're quick because of your local knowledge. And I was like, well, Matt Edwards came and he hadn't done the rally before, and I think his actions speak louder there.
So thanks very much there to Fergus and Callum, you heard earlier as well there too. So yeah, I think we're a wee bit more of an insight in what happens in Mull now, Connor.
I think so. It's one of those bucket list ones. At some point I hope to get over, and it's like incredible. It's a small island, and yet, there's 226 competitive kilometers there that they just competed on. Like, that's nuts.
It is. It really is. Yeah. So that's that for the latest episode of Krunching Gears, the Rally podcast. Please like, share, rate, subscribe. All those things makes a difference. And until the next time, take care, speak soon, and bye.
That's the proudest day and the proudest time and the seat of a rally here, because that day and that hour and those minutes I got the bit between my teeth. I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all we said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.